Hi, I'm Stefan Null. Welcome back to Visual Impact series of tests. The next test that I'm going to do in this series of tests between the Sony F5 and the Canon C300 is the underexposure test. Okay, so once again we used a base of 5.6, compensated with the NDs, the ND9 on the F5 and an ND3 on the C300 to get them to the 5.6 level, 5.6 base stop. We have then underexposed each camera by 3 stops. Okay, I will show you now how they handle with 3 stops underexposed. As we've seen in the overexposure tests, the Sony F5 performed quite a lot better than the Canon C300. Okay, what we're looking at here is a Canon C300 overexposure. Once you can see again by my RGB parade, remember we are in log. If I add the LUT, you can see my black level is bottoming out, so we will actually just bring it up a little bit. Okay, if we're adding the LUT, you can see I have a really low exposure range. The bright sky over here and over here in our image is topping out at 80% and clipping at the top here. You can also see in my histogram how little information I have in the white areas or past my 50% gray towards the pure white. You can see that my histogram is really thin over here. Okay, same with the F5. You will see once again I'm underexposed by 3 stops. Straight away, just with your eye, you can see that I have a better exposure range. If you look at the spread on the RGB parade and on the histogram, look, I have a lot more information in my midtones here, being past the 50% gray area, all the way to white. You can see that I have a lot more information here. Okay, so let's go back to the Canon C300. All right, now I'm just going to basically take this and dial up its master gains. And you can see that it holds quite well. There's a little bit of artifacts starting to appear in this area over here, and this area over here. If we magnify once again, you can see the noise starting to appear in our image, right? And this is a level of 72 above 0, which is the standard. If we dropped it around the 50% range, my image still artifacts, but quite clean, quite acceptable, can read all my lane scales. Handles being pushed quite reasonably. Okay, if I go to my curve and just push my gamma curve all the way up, you'll see it doesn't really fall apart except for the noise reproduction that I'm seeing here in the artifacts. If you can look at the color spectrum here, you'll see the noise starting to appear where it doesn't quite resolve because of the underexposure. Okay, not too bad. Handles low light pretty well. Pretty happy with what I'm seeing on the C300. Okay, now let's move across to the Sony F5. Take the magnification off. Okay, 3 stops underexposed. You can see I have a good color reproduction over here. I can read all my lens scales. Looking not too bad. My RGB parade is sitting at a really good level. Even though it's underexposed, I have a good spread. If I go through to my numerical values and I push my gains up, you can see how much I actually have in this image. Very little artifacts. Okay, if we look in the area where we were looking before, as we pushed it up, see there are artifacts, but quite a lot less than I'm seeing in the Canon C300, especially since I'm at 200%. If we go to the value where we started seeing artifacts on the 300, once again, a little bit of noise artifacts being lifted up here, but really handles really well being pushed. Okay, if we go into the curves, bring my stats up, bottoming out, topping out, you can see that there's a lot of range to play with. If you look at my histogram, I have a good spread by pushing the gamma curve up. Once again, my pre-gain levels, the same.